did I hit? What is this? Cancel. All right. Okay, we should have people pretty soon. There's my comments. Let's see what we got here. I have 2 viewers. Awesome. Hi, people. We're going to wait for Sandy because she might sing for us today. I don't know if that's a good thing or not a good thing, but yes, it's another Friday afternoon for Facebook Live. Wow. And also YouTube. Don't forget, we are on YouTube. And if there's ever one of our Facebook sessions that you don't get a chance to enjoy, look us up on our YouTube channel, because we do try to record all of the pertinent things and pop them up there. And hi, Loanne. That's awesome. Yeah, lots of things going on, lots of things to remind everybody about, and a little bit of fun. Boy, where is everybody? Is everybody out in the garden? Hey, not a problem. Not a problem. So we're going to start by just running down a few things coming up, just so that you don't forget about them. But I know we've talked about these before. Threads That Thrive. This is a clothing drive that Sate is running, and we are participating in it. So by May 13814. Okay, by Chelsea, that does not make any sense. Anyway, we have our Threads That Thrive clothing drive running right now. So that means if you have been doing that spring cleaning in your closet, you have a few things that you don't like, you're no longer fit, you could drop them off here at the store. What else is going on here? Our Feline Rescue Foundation is wrapping up end of this month, but you still have time to participate in that one. If you want the details, it's all in our newsletter, so pop onto our website if you don't already get our newsletter and subscribe to that one. Apparently, our Kimberbell red, white, and barbecue kits are in. Hey, Sandy.
Hi, Barb. How you doing?
I'm doing fine.
Hi,
Sandy
everybody.
wants to tell you about Kimberbell.
Yeah, it's Wacky Wednesday. Sandy here to hold up the show for a few minutes. But
Yeah,
hi,
it's okay.
everybody. Just wanted to let you know that Miss Dawn has finished cutting all of the stabilizer, has packaged the kits up, and the Kimberbell red, white, and barbecue kits are ready for pickup. So anytime you want to come in and do it, we'll be here and we'll be able to hand them to you.
Awesome.
And anyone who's not already enrolled and wants to do it, we have 4 and only 4 spots left. So call us, get your name in, and we'll get you enrolled in that class. It should be a hoot. All right.
Do we get a barbecue?
We get a barbecue.
Woohoo!
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 Woohoo! So it should be really fun. Anyways, thank you, Barb.
Don't run away.
Nope.
I need your help.
Okay, well,
I need your help in a couple minutes, but I have 2 more announcements.
All right, you announce. I'll just step aside for a sec.
Ukraine fabric bundles. So we've made bundles of yellow and blue fabric to help support the Ukraine, and the proceeds from that are going to the relief fund for the Ukraine. What else do I have to tell you about? I have a teaser. I have a teaser. I have been working flat out on the patterns for our next installment of our mystery quilt series. Chloe and Ellie are going on a vacation.
Woo!
So woohoo! So all being well, we're hoping for a July 1st launch for that. It's going to be a goodie. So it's not in the system yet. We don't have the kits. We don't have pricing for you, but keep an eye and an ear on our Facebook and our newsletter, and we will let you know as soon as we can where you can sign that up. The other fun thing, yeah. Actually, Chelsea made me a list.
Oh,
Yeah.
good job. She's
Good for her. The other fun thing that's happening, and it's going to start next Friday, is our Fan Mail Fridays. It occurred to us that some of you out there just might have questions that you maybe think aren't worth phoning the store or coming by, but you got that sort of, yeah, well, I really wish I knew. Well, send them to us. Email social@mysewingroom.ca with your questions, and every Friday, hopefully, we are going to be answering some of those questions. It's going to give us time to consult with our experts. So if you have a machine question, we can talk to our Service Bay fellows. If you have a machine embroidery question, we'll tag Leah with that one, and we will be able to answer them live on Facebook on Fridays. And hopefully some of the more pertinent ones will make it into the newsletter, and might even send you a personal email as well. So I'm really looking forward to that one, Sandy.
It sounds like a lot of fun, and it sounds like we could probably learn a few things, and that would be
Yeah.
very useful. I like it.
So what are we going to talk about today? I am going to talk about favorite things.
Raindrops on
Roses,
and whiskers on
Kittens.
kittens, bright copper kettles and warm woolen mittens.
No, we don't want warm woolen.
Okay, forget the mittens.
Forget the mittens.
How about brown paper packages?
Oh,
tied
yeah, we
up
like
with
those.
string?
These are a few of my favorite things. Yay!
Have fun with
Thank
your
you,
favorite
Sandy.
things, everybody. Bye.
Yeah, today I want to talk to you about some of my favorite things and how this all came about. I was sewing last weekend because that's what we do on our days off. I was actually working on some of the patterns for Patchwork in Paradise. And I sewed a whole bunch of half square triangles. Boom, 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 boom. And I went to sew the other side, and I thought, that tension is no good. So I got out my very first all-time favorite thing. These are the sorts of things that they live on your sewing table because you use them so frequently. This guy. I know it looks simple. It's an old watercolor paintbrush. You can also use like an old makeup brush. Clean it well. The soft bristles on this guy are like little magnets when it comes to pulling those fuzz mice out of your bobbin area. So I got busy. Look at that. Yeah. And I dusted out my machine, and I thought, this is one of my favorite things when I'm sewing, and I'll bet other people would like to know about it. So that's number one favorite thing in my sewing room. And then I thought I should tell people about my favorite things on Facebook, and I listed 4 or 5. And I was talking to Kason, our social media guy. He says, well, it's Friday the 13th. Have you got 13 favorite things? So I started listing them, and turns out I do. A soft brush is number 1. Number 2, and maybe it's because I was sewing half square triangles, is this little guy. This is called a quick quarter quilter's ruler. And I have tried every single method of making half square triangles that there is. And this is the most accurate for me. Simple little thing. All you do with it, you can see it's got little spaces here, is you line it up on the diagonal across your square that you have cut, and you draw your lines either side of it. So instead of drawing on the diagonal, you're drawing the 2 lines, and then you sew on those lines. Perfect half square triangles. That's number 2 favorite thing. Number 3, again, I'm working my way through things. I could not survive in my sewing room without my little mini iron. There is something about having this handy, having it ready. I have a little mini sewing or ironing table. Oh, or you can use our wool mats, work great. Right there, handy, so you can sew, give it a quick press. It will take water, although I don't use steam in mine. Absolutely awesome. Cannot do without that guy. So that is number 3 favorite thing. Number 4 favorite thing as we're working our way, Mary Ellen's Best Press. I like to pre-wash all my fabrics. I know most people don't these days. That's perfectly all right, but I like to pre-wash my fabrics. And then I iron them, I straighten them, fold them, tuck them away until I need them. I know when I want that fabric, it is ready to go. But sometimes that does soften the fabric, so maybe we don't get quite as crisp a cut. Best Press is awesome at flattening that fabric. I also use it after I've drawn my thing. I cut my half square triangles. I press my seams. I like to press my seams open. Sometimes the seam intersections get a little lumpy, but a little squirt of Best Press, a little press with my mini iron, and it lays nice and flat. So that's number 4. And that's what I had written down originally. But when I started thinking, I realized that there were a lot of other things that I just rely on in this whole quilting world. So next one up on the list, where'd it go? There. Besides our standard 6x24s and 6x12 rulers, one of the handiest rulers I own is this guy, the Hexenmore Ruler. It will cut hexagons, half hexagons, triangles. All of the markings are on there. A multitude of uses. Has a great little instruction leaflet with it as well, and lots of pattern support. In particular, Jaybird quilts. A lot of their little patterns, we have them here at the store, call for the Hexenmore Ruler. So if I had, we all have lots of rulers, right? But some of them, they just don't get used that much. This one does. Hexenmore Ruler. Next thing on the list. Yoo-hoo, where is it? Here we are. I think a lot of you know that I am a hand stitcher. Like to do that. I like to wear metal thimbles for some of the work that I do, but sometimes they get hot, they get clumsy, they get don't like them. So this is my go-to when it comes to hand stitching, to protect this finger from the eye of the needle, not the point so much, as you do repeated stitches through your fabric. They are little silicone dots, actually ovals. I actually cut mine in half. I get 2 out of 1 that stick on your finger, and they work beautifully. It's just, they're cheap, they're easy to use, and you get, how many did you get in a package here? 64 self-stick ovals. It's going to last you a long time. They have a really good strong adhesive, strong enough that, let's say you want to go and have a cup of coffee and you don't want that thing stuck on your finger. So you can take it off and carefully set it. I usually put it on the top of the spool of thread. Anything that it'd stick on, keep it there. You can reuse it that way 2 or 3 times. Absolutely a wonderful, wonderful product if you're hand stitching, and you don't have to wear that heavy metal thimble all the time. What's next? Mini rotary cutters. We all have a selection of rotary cutters, I hope, and our basic 45mm works great for a lot of things, but sometimes you want the precision of the little guy. Nice thing with these is you're cutting curves. They're going to go around a curve easier. I use this one when I'm squaring up. A little more precision, not so hard on the hand, nips through beautifully. And this guy, I actually don't have one of those, but I think I might have to get one. This is an even tinier one. What's the 18mm on that one? So definitely if you're jumping into curved piecing, that would be something to have in hand. So I love my little mini rotary cutter. What else do we like? Well, This is a totally the other end of the spectrum. 505 basting spray. Because I work on the long arms, I don't always have to baste things at home, but occasionally you do want to get something nice and secure. When I started here and was introduced to 505, I thought, no, I don't know, chemicals, sprays. The one thing I love about this, besides the fact that it actually works, is it has no odor. You will get a faint scent of the propellant that is in it. It disappears almost immediately, does not leave any odor in your quilts. So that is, and it works. It just works beautifully. Sticks things down well enough that they hold in position, but if you have to remove it, it's perfectly possible to do that. So 505 is a great product. So we get our project all 505 together, and maybe we want to do some free motion quilting. One of the girls was saying, well, what do you like to use for free motion quilting? Do you want the gloves out there? I really don't like wearing the gloves. My hands get too hot. You go to pick up something else and they feel clumsy. But if I was doing free motion quilting on a domestic, especially with a larger throat, or on one of the sit down long arms, these would be my go-tos. They're called sweet spots. You can see how thick they are. They have the no slip backing on them. It's like a little rubbery thing. What I like about them, let's see if I can demonstrate here. If I had a piece of fabric on a surface like that and I'm trying to hang on to it, your hand is tight. It's clenched. You're hanging onto the fabric. You're trying to move it around like this. The minute you put that sweet spot down, it hangs onto the fabric for you. Your hand is in a much more natural position. And you just rest your hand on it, move your fabric, pick this up, move it around. So you're not having to fumble clumsy with rings or other gadgets. These are just, they're the most amazing things for free motion quilting on a smaller machine like that. So that would be on my bucket list as well. Good old sweet spots. Now, another thing, if you're doing free motion work at home, especially, and especially on domestic machines, the sit-down long arms, they have actually adapted their table surfaces so that your things slide nicely on it. But if not, even some of the new tables, the new plexi, really, they look really nice and they feel smooth, but it doesn't let the fabric slide too well. So I think we're all familiar with this guy. This is another one, lives on my sewing machine, just because everything slides beautifully on it. Lasts a long time. If it gets linty or dusty, it's just like run it under the tap, wash the lint off, give it a shake. Works beautifully. So Supreme Slider, another one of my favorite things. It's always to hand in my sewing room. There we go. Running down the list. Couple more. Uh-oh. Ah. Golden threads. Golden threads is basically a very lightweight tracing paper, but it has so many uses. I use it for tracing and transferring patterns. I use it if I want to quilt over an area of a quilt that might get caught in the foot of the machine. So many uses of that. If you want to quilt 12 blocks the same, you can make 12 layers of this and stitch through it without thread, and now you have 12 perforated pieces of paper. Just every time you turn around, you think of another use for golden threads paper. The next thing I had on my list, and I see Chelsea hasn't been able to find any, so obviously it's other people's favorite thing as well, is freezer paper. Um, Freezer paper used to be used a lot before we had like Ziploc bags and packaging and everything we get our stuff, our groceries from in the stores was wrapped in its equivalent, butcher's paper, right? Did you know you can only get freezer paper at quilt stores now? Because I've looked. Freezer paper is amazing for transferring designs and patterns. It's again one of my go-to products. I use it for embroidery. I use it for applique. Anytime I want to transfer designs, I'm just working on a project now where I'm working from templates. So I don't have to try and hold that template down and cut around it. I just make my template out of freezer paper. Whoops. Press it down onto my fabric. Let's get those so I can see you as you can, well as you can see me. Teach me to talk with my hands, hey? Press that freezer paper down on your fabric and then you can cut around it with no problem. So that is another one of my very favorite things. Always lives in my sewing room. And number 13, obviously, as you probably know by now, I love books. I'm a sucker for buying books. So we have put a few of our half-price books on the table here. And you know what I think I'm going to do for you? I am going to see if we can get that. We can. Look at that. So Chelsea's put out a few books. She just grabbed handfuls from our half price. And I am just going to let you have a look at some of them. Put some charm in your quilts. Paper and traditional piecing. Look at that. Working from charm squares on it. This is a coloring book. People ask sometimes, where do you get your design ideas? Well, excuse me, lots of design ideas in something like this. And lots of fun to play with too. Quilt challenge. What if ideas for color and design? Having trouble getting motivated for that next project? Well, why not pick up a book with lots of inspiration in it? Lots of that. Pinwheel party. Here's something we just talked about in our hand embroidery class this afternoon, beading on fabric. How about first time beading on fabric? Learning to bead in 9 easy lessons. So you can add lots, you can add a little bit of beads to your quilted projects. Jazz it up a wee bit. Throw some on a collar of a blouse, collar of a jean jacket. Sue Hunt's house party, coordinated quilts and pillows. That's a good one. Look at this one. Pattern-free fashions and accessories. Ooh, 15 easy sew projects that help to build skills as well. So lots of fun there. Maybe one that you could work through some of the projects with one of the younger members of the family. Embellishing clothes and accessories. It's in the details. Here's one that branches out a bit. Fabric, paper, thread. 26 projects to stitch with friends. Hand stitching. What else? Oh, leather bracelets. Oh, look at that. A shirt with love on it. Making paper patterns. Decorating. So all kinds of things. These are half price. Look at this. For the love of hand stitching. Isn't that cute? Some of the things you could do. There's a wonderful little bag. That looks like wool on there. We have a great selection of wool. Rug, pillows. So that's just a small sample of our half-price books. Pop into the store sometime. Have a little flip through. We have tons of them. Guaranteed you'll find something that tickles your fancy. And speaking of tickling your fancy, I know that was 13 and it's the 13th. I'm supposed to be doing 13, but one more thing. So this will be tomorrow's. We have to have a favorite thing for tomorrow. New line of fabric. Who doesn't like new fabric? This is spectacular. You won't see it on the camera probably, but it's got little almost glittery. Let's pull the pink one out for you. Would you believe, ta-da, would you believe this is Halloween fabric? This is so different for Halloween. It is, I said when I saw it, it's almost Tula Pinky. But if you can look at, say, the center of the flower here, the top of Mr. Owl's head over here, it's a little bit glittery. So a whole range of fabric. You're the first ones to see it. And I think it's really fun, and I think it's really different for Halloween. It's nice to see something that's not pumpkin orange, because not all of us are a fan of pumpkin orange, and it's nice to see these other colors. So great line of fabric, and brand new in. It's not too early to start planning ahead for the fall. Oh, we hate to say it, I know summer's just nicely here, but yeah, fall is coming. Oh well. So that's my favorite things for this week. Don't forget to look at your sewing room with a different eye. Say, what are some of my favorite things? And more importantly, do some of my favorite things look like they're wearing out and maybe need to be replaced? So you can think of that as well. Keep in mind, things that are coming up are red, white, and barbecue kits, our fan mail Friday next week. I'm really curious to see what sort of questions we get on that one. That should be fun. All of our charitable works, and keep an eye out for the big reveal of Patchwork in Paradise coming up fairly soon. So that's what I have for you today. Hope you had fun, and have a great weekend, everybody. It's really wonderful that you all choose to join us at this time of day every day. It's amazing what a community of people like this can keep going through all of the times that we've had over the last couple of years. We're so glad you're with us, and we look forward to seeing you next time. Have a great weekend, everybody. Take care.